The year 2696 marked humanity's dominance among the stars. Planets teemed with sprawling metropolises, and terraformed worlds bore the fruits of humanity's relentless ingenuity. But where progress surged, so too did arrogance. They thought themselves invincible, masters of all. Then came the charge. It started on Gythra Prime, a distant mining colony at the edge of explored space. The miners unearthed a vast, humming artifact, a towering obelisk of smooth, obsidian-like material, etched with glowing alien runes, unlike anything encountered before. It pulsed faintly, sending waves of unease through those who stood near it. Despite the warnings of the local scientists, Earth's ruling council authorized the artifact's transport to Sol for study. Greed eclipsed caution. The artifact never reached Earth. Midway through the journey, the ship, SS Vanguard, went silent. No distress signals, no black box transmissions, just an eerie, hollow void. When a rescue fleet arrived 3 weeks later, they found the Vanguard drifting. Every inch of the ship's hull was covered in strange, organic growths, jagged black vines that pulsed faintly, like veins coursing with dark blood. A salvage crew entered, armed to the teeth. They broadcast live footage. What they found shocked the galaxy. The ship's interior was a graveyard. Bodies littered the floors, their faces frozen in screams, yet no wounds marked their flesh. The walls writhed as though alive, pulsating with a sinister rhythm. The artifact stood at the heart of the cargo bay, its glow now blindingly bright. Around it floated the corpses of the Vanguard's crew, levitating as if caught in a silent, eternal scream. Then, the artifact spoke. The broadcast went dead, cutting off mid-transmission, but not before trillions heard a single phrase whispered in countless languages simultaneously. The charge begins. Within days, more ships went silent, outposts, colonies, and entire fleets swallowed into the void. Survivors spoke of shadow-like beings, their forms indistinct but terrifyingly present, moving like smoke and slaughtering like ghosts. They left no marks on the bodies, only fear etched into the faces of the dead. Humanity retaliated, armadas were mobilized, planetary defenses fortified, but nothing stopped the shadow horde. Energy weapons dissipated harmlessly, projectiles vanished mid-flight, and with each human death, the shadows grew stronger. Scientists worked tirelessly to understand the artifact, now known as the Obelisk of Charge. They theorized it wasn't a weapon but a beacon, a call to something ancient and unimaginable. The shadows weren't invaders, they were guardians, enforcing a cosmic law humanity had unknowingly violated. The breaking point came when Earth itself fell silent. One moment, the bustling jewel of humanity glowed brightly in the night sky. The next, it dimmed. Ships sent to investigate found a planet utterly devoid of life. Cities stood intact, lights flickered in empty streets, but not a single soul remained. The galaxy watched in horror as the humans, once the dominant species, were eradicated, not through war, but through the sheer inevitability of the charge. Some say the Obelisk of Charge still drifts in the void, waiting for the next species bold, or foolish, enough to disturb it. But one thing remains clear, humanity's arrogance cost them everything. And the shadows? They simply waited, patient as the endless void. Posted by u/Starborn Scribe. Anyone else get chills reading this? Makes me think twice about those deep space expeditions. Next part, the humans charged. Part 2, Echoes of the Fallen. The silence left in humanity's wake was deafening. In the galactic void where their colonies had once thrived, there were now only graveyards of abandoned worlds and lifeless ships. Other species, those who had once feared or envied humanity, watched and waited, wondering if the darkness would come for them next. It didn't. The shadows vanished as abruptly as they had appeared, leaving behind only the hushed remnants of the once great human civilization. The galaxy hesitated, unsure whether the event was a warning or an extinction written into the stars. But the echoes of the humans lingered. The obelisk returns. 2 years after the fall of Earth, a small merchant vessel, the Pirha, stumbled upon a derelict human ship drifting near the shattered remains of the Vega Gate. Against all better judgment, the crew boarded, driven by curiosity and greed. Inside, they found the ship frozen in time, personal belongings lay untouched, meals still sat uneaten, mold creeping along their edges. But the stranger's discovery was the ship's log, which flickered weakly on the captain's terminal. The last entry was cryptic. "We tried to destroy it. We thought we succeeded. We didn't. It's coming back. For us all." In the cargo hold, they found it, a second obelisk, identical to the first. It stood silent, its runes dark. Unlike the obelisk of charge, this one emitted no hum, no pulse of malevolent energy. The crew should have left it, they didn't. The Shadow's return. The Pihar's captain, Dunvelos, sold the artifact to an anonymous buyer on the frontier. By the time the Galactic Council learned of the sale, it was too late. Shadows began reappearing, this time not just in human remnants but across other worlds. Entire colonies, species of every kind, started vanishing, their populations consumed by the same eerie silence that had claimed humanity. Panic gripped the galaxy. The Council declared a state of universal emergency, deploying every fleet to hunt down the artifact. Theories flew faster than light. Was this a punishment for allowing humanity to fall? Had the galaxy failed some unfathomable test? Whispers of resistance. Amidst the chaos, a rogue group of survivors emerged. They called themselves the Torchbearers, composed of scientists, smugglers, and the last remnants of humanity. They claimed to know the truth. The obelisk wasn't just a beacon or a guardian's warning, it was a challenge, a test meant to weed out species too dangerous to survive in the cosmos. Humanity's fall wasn't inevitable, it was the result of their failure to answer the challenge. The Torchbearers sought to do what their ancestors could not, confront the obelisks and end the cycle, but they needed help. Broadcasts were sent to every corner of the galaxy, calling for allies to join their fight. Some heeded the call, though reluctantly. Others dismissed the Torchbearers as desperate remnants of a doomed species. But as more worlds fell silent, the galaxy realized it had no choice. The charge begins anew. The Torchbearers traced the origin of the obelisks to an uncharted region of space, a place where stars burned dim and time seemed to warp. They called it the Veil. Their fleet, a ragtag armada of alien vessels and ancient human warships, plunged into the Veil. The closer they drew, the more their instruments failed. Shadows flickered at the edges of their vision, whispers gnawed at their sanity, and some ships simply vanished, their crews taken by the unseen enemy. At the center of the Veil, they found it, a massive structure, miles across, its surface a maze of glowing runes, the origin obelisk. It pulsed with a terrifying rhythm, each beat sending waves of dread through the fleet. As the Torchbearers approached, the shadows converged, forming an impenetrable wall. The final battle began. A desperate gamble, fleets clashed in the dark, their weapons useless against the shadows, but the Torchbearers had a plan. Deep within the human ruins, they had uncovered records of ancient experiments, humanity's last, desperate attempts to understand the obelisk before their fall. The obelisk, they learned, was alive, a fragment of a greater consciousness that spanned galaxies. It responded to intent, feeding on fear and aggression. To defeat it, they would have to confront it with unity and resolve, qualities humanity had lacked at its end. The fleet's flagship, the Perseverance, carried a device built from human ingenuity and alien technology, a neural amplifier capable of broadcasting the collective will of every living being in the fleet. As the shadows closed in, the Torchbearers activated the amplifier, sending a pulse of pure, defiant thought into the heart of the obelisk. For a moment, the shadows hesitated. The obelisk's glow dimmed, its runes flickering like dying stars.